Don't go anywhere. Another hour of the Horse Radio Network Holiday Radiothon by State Line Tack. We'll be back shortly.
Have a horse and pony Christmas. They're best friends all the year. We won't know if we will show or drink a mug of beer. Have a horse and pony Christmas, and when you trot down the street, say nay, nay, you great big bay, while begging for a treat. Whoa, whoa, the Christmas show, trot your way to me. Your horse will wait for thee under the Christmas tree. Have a horse and pony Christmas, horse radio loved by all. Tune right in and take a spin, and Merry Christmas all. Merry Christmas, everybody.
It's time for the next hour of the HRN Holiday Radiothon in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Rocking around the HRN tree, Glenn and Ashley on the air.
And for hour 3, it's Racehorse Radio. See, Joy and Kristen got the tea.
I am Margaret Selewski, Customer Service Representative, and it's hour 3 of the Horse Radio Network Holiday Radiothon. Be sure to head over to statelinetack.com for all of your holiday shopping. Happy holidays from everyone at statelinetack.com.
Well, welcome everybody to hour 3, and we're so excited to be here. Jemmy, I have a pronouncement. Not Jemmy, Ashley. I have a pronouncement. It's officially champagne hour. It has begun. I'm just letting you know. So your next break, you can run and get a glass, okay?
I'll get 2, so then I have it lined up. Ready
Good. Just letting everybody know that is officially 5 o'clock, and that is drinking hour here on Radiothon. And thank you, Dr. Wendy, for pouring my Aste Spumante. I appreciate it. Now, if I don't spill it all over the keyboard and make the show go off the air, we'll be in good shape. So thank you for joining us on hour 3, the Retired Racehorse Radio Hour of the Horse Radio Network, 6-hour live holiday radiothon by State Line Tack with additional support provided by Kentucky Performance Products and Benefab. I am Glenn the Geek, and emceeing with me for the full 6 hours is my friend, host of Sleep Stories for Equestrians, the Quarter Horse Podcast, and the Show Jumping Podcast, Ashley Winch. Thank you, Ashley. Ashley Marion Bright. That's her official name. Yes, you get Marion Brighter. I think there's more bows that end up on top of it every hour. We also have 4 more hours of guests, over $3,000 in prizes to give away, multiple hosts, and you, our creative listeners. Your songs and poems have been absolutely wonderful this year, so thank you for that. The schedule, prizes of all the guests, and all the details about Radiothon are at holidayradiothon.com.
Our hosts for this hour from the Retired Racehorse Radio Show, now with over 140 episodes. Retired Racehorse Radio is your guide to the adoption, care, and training of the retired racehorse. Hello, Joy Orr and Kristen Bentley. Happy Radiothon.
Hello, happy Radiothon.
Happy Radiothon. Glenn, I'm right there with you.
Oh, yay! It's very good, actually. It's very bubbly and good.
Wonderful.
Well, welcome, guys. This is your... What number Radiothon is this for you? Joy, is this your 3rd?
This is my 3rd. I think Kristen's 2nd.
Yeah. At least 2nd. I feel like it's 3rd. I don't know.
She's been drinking, too.
This is tea. I will have
we
you
got
know
to come for trivia our very first year.
So you're at hundreds of episodes now of Retired Racehorse Radio.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Everyone who's made this happen, because we're still in shock.
And you're still here after all of this time. And we're going to give away some prizes on your hour, over $750 worth, including prizes from EasySignsOnline.com, Trafalgar Square Books, U.S. Rider, Zero Proof Horse Treats, and State Line Tack. So we have a whole bunch of prizes this hour. But before we get to, I want to ask you some questions. Before we get to that, I wanted to do our trivia for the start of this hour. For the listeners, the first one to guess this, that Jennifer sees, will win one of our terrific ornaments for the tree. Thanks to Jessica Troop, our listener, for drawing those every year. We really appreciate it. So what is the question?
Who wrote Christmas doesn't come from a store? Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little more.
So who wrote that? First one to guess. I think they'll get that one right away, don't you think? I think they'll get that one right away.
I think so. Surprise, it was
Kristen, you win. So, guys, I don't think I've had the chance because we had themes every year except this year. For some reason, the listeners voted that we don't do a theme this year. But the themes, one of the years before you were involved, was your favorite Christmas. Do you have a favorite Christmas? So I'm going to ask you both that, but I'll give you a little minute to think about it. Ashley, do you have a favorite Christmas? Because you never answered that either.
Yeah, I didn't get a minute to think about it either.
That's why you're the co-host. You're quick.
I don't remember it, but I did get a pony for Christmas when I was, like
every little girl's dream.
Yeah, that was me.
You don't remember the pony?
No, I just don't remember that Christmas, like the whole moment of it all. But
so yes, you don't know if the pony was under the tree or out in the barn? Or,
I'm sure she was at the barn because it was in a cul-de-sac situation and we could walk from our house to the barn. And her name was Dixie and she was a Arab Welsh cross with a giant head and was bay with a big old star and made my dreams come true.
Well, yay! Well, that's lovely. I want to know from the listeners, put in the comment that you're watching live, if you got a pony for Christmas at some point. Kristen, did you ever get a pony for Christmas?
I did not. No. Trying to remember like the timing of when we got horses. It was never at Christmas. The closest I got was we bought Shorty in November, and then I sort of like gave him to my husband. So I don't think that really counts. So
do you ride Shorty more than your husband at this point?
No, actually I bought Shorty for myself and then was like, actually I don't really get along with this horse. So fortunately Eric was like, I do. So that worked out great.
So he got the leftovers basically. Here, I don't like this one. You can have it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't, I'm not going to put it like that, mostly because he's in the barn right now doing the chores while I can sit here and be warm and toasty. So, but yes, yeah, they were a match made in heaven. If not one written in the stars ahead of time,
Joy, you were a horsey family.
Horsey family, no horse at Christmas, but I did get one for my birthday.
That almost counts. So. Was it a pony?
No, it was like the orneriest Arab mare that my dad could find. Literally came out of the trailer striking at everyone. He's like, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
And my mom was like, you're going to kill our daughter. It's like, you got life insurance. That's the present. Because his birthday is like shortly after mine. So that was the running joke.
We have had a couple. Melanie got a pony when she was 10. She said, I was really sick with the flu, but it's still a great memory. Why does that? And her mother was probably fretting about her being really sick with the flu. They had this all planned, and then the kid gets sick. You can just picture the whole scene behind the scenes there. And Gwen says, I got myself a pony for New Year's once. I don't know that counts.
It counts.
I don't know if getting yourself one counts.
I think it counts.
It's called self-care, Glenn.
She's an independent woman.
Joy, do you have a favorite Christmas?
Oh, honestly, it's going to sound kind of funny. My favorite Christmas, I was 8 years old and I thought I was real hot stuff. Thought I was really clever. And I figured out how to carefully unwrap presents because shocker, I'm not the most patient human out there. And I figured out how to unwrap them and hide them again where it didn't look unwrapped. And so I had checked all my presents just to see if I even like these or if I needed to regift them because I was a small businesswoman at 8. And there was this one little box that I had the most intrigue. I'm like, what could be in this super small box? And it was a letter from my mom basically telling me how proud she was of me, how much she loved me, all this stuff. And I'm like, who cares? About this? What gift is this?
This is awful.
And so I folded it back up and was like, whatever, wasting my time. And then Christmas comes, I open everything and I act super surprised and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, this is so great. Thank you. And then I purposely left that letter because I'm like, I really don't care.
Oh my God.
And my mom's like, you forgot one. And I was like, oh, did I? I'm sorry. So I open it and I was like, gee, thanks. Love you too. And she's like, did you look on the back? I was like, no. She had bought me rollerblades that I've been wanting for a long time. And she even wrote, she's like, I knew you were going to do this. I'm still smarter than you.
Oh my God.
Iconic.
I was humbled. That was my best Christmas as I was politely humbled by my own mother.
She called you out, and a very smart, clever way to do it too. Wow. We did try and used to sneak up to the attic and try and find the presents, but my mom was like yours. She was sharp, and she had 4 boys. She had to be sharp. You know, she knew, crap was going on in the house around Christmas time. So she knew. Kristen?
You know, I don't not that Christmases weren't special. I just don't remember a particular one, but we had our first Christmas, not having to travel to see family. I think 2 years ago, we got that super Arctic blast and it was minus 40 degrees or something ridiculous. So we self-canceled Christmas and we're we need to work on keeping everything alive here before we travel out of state. And we had already emptied out the fridge. So we made a really nice Christmas dinner out of just leftover bits and bobs of stuff. And it was just I don't know why it was such a nice Christmas, but it was really nice to just sort of be resilient and just lean on each other and then also work really hard to keep all the horses and cows alive. So kind of a weird, masochistic, I really like hard work Christmas, but yeah, that's how I roll. So, such is life.
I give Leslie
really helpful because my little dog pointed out a smoking extension cord in the cow barn on Christmas Day. She's not a pointer, she's a border collie, but she just was looking at my brother-in-law and staring at this extension cord until he got the picture. And he was like, "Oh my God, your dog saved the farm." She pointed out. So we were like, "Yay, Sage, the dog who saved Christmas." So,
this sounds like a Hallmark movie in the making.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she should have her own children's book at this point.
I know a lot of Kristen's stories. Kristen's life could be a Hallmark movie because she's got the snow. She lives in the country. She's got the good-looking guy. I mean, she's got the Hallmark movie all wrapped up. They probably grow Christmas trees and sell them at a Christmas tree lot in town. That's probably true. So I did notice that.
And make sure we patent it. This is our idea.
All my life, right? Glenn's just giving me away here. No, you all can have some snow because it has actually not stopped snowing since Thursday night. We all got home from Thanksgiving and the snow was great. Poof, and we've had I think we have 3 feet of snow right now and we have another couple.
You live near Lake Erie, right?
We do.
That's where they're getting that.
Did you know? Yeah. It's I've been waking.
I saw there were people backed up in traffic for 20 hours, and it was crazy. Yeah. My
horse trailer's buried in a drift, and we're gonna have to take Shorty for some X-rays at the end of the month. And I'm I really hope it thaws before then. I don't know how we're gonna get the trailer out of the
front end loader.
Yeah, I think if I start now and I start riding him to the vet, we should get there in time. So
I remember my wife Jennifer. Her mom is also sharp, and they one year she had some brothers too. They one year did the same thing Joy did. They found the gifts, opened them, and rewrapped them. But her mom figured it out too. She returned all those gifts and got different ones.
Ooh. Man,
that feels like something I do to my own children.
It's another level right there.
Decoy presents.
Leslie, I give you mom credit. She got her daughter one when she was 4 at Christmas. So give them credit for that. You guys have a guest right after we hear from State Line Tech. Who do you have coming up?
Yeah, we have one of my favorite people in the thoroughbred industry, Jen Roytz. She is coming to us from Brownstead Farm, where she raises thoroughbreds with her partner, Dr. Stuart Brown. And she also writes for Pollock Report. And I'm sure I'm missing 300 other amazing things that she does, but she is a lot of fun. So we have a great conversation with her coming up.
Very good. And I did want to let you guys know, I noticed 2 minutes before the show started that you sent me recipes you're going to do after, so I don't have them to show because I just noticed it about 2 minutes before the show started. That my fault. That's the disadvantage of doing live shows is that. So, but they are going to have some cool recipes for us after. Joy and Kristen are both great cooks, so we're going to hear from them after, and our listeners love recipes. So this is going to be a lot of fun, but let's get to your guest first. Jemmy, let's hear from State Line Tack, and then we'll go right to the guest.
When the giants step back, we step up. At State Line Tack, we don't just sell products. We provide unwavering support to the equine community. From sponsoring aspiring riders to collaborating with local and national organizations, every step we take is a testament to our commitment. Our team isn't just a group of employees. We are a team of passionate equestrians working tirelessly to ensure that the heart of the equine industry keeps beating strong. Join us in our journey. State Line Tack, where support is a promise. Get 30% off any $129 order or more. Enter coupon code HRN at checkout. Please note, some products are not eligible for the additional discount due to manufacturer restrictions. These are noted in your shopping cart. That's coupon code HRN.
We're very excited to have longtime friend of the show, past executive director of Retired Racehorse Project, and now co-leader of Brownstead Farm, Jen Roytz, is back with us. So happy holidays, Jen. Welcome back to Retired Racehorse Radio.
You guys too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's like a fun little holiday reunion, and I used to see this view into your office so often. So for me, I'm like, oh, we're back. This is so nice. So yeah, thanks for welcoming us back into your home office.
Oh my gosh. Well, I wish it was a cleaner home office, but I haven't had a lot of time to clean lately.
It looks great to me. So don't worry. Yeah, we're not actually coming in for the holidays. So no fears there. So Jen, what are you up to these days? What does this season look like for you? We're in end of November, beginning of December. What's going on in Jen land?
It's funny when you introduce me as the former executive director of our RP. I always get so excited to hear that because that was the most fun job ever until I got to do this full time. When I was at our RP, I was trying to balance managing our farm and also doing everything that our RP requires, which is a lot. And now it's, more full time our farm. We've got a small breeding racing sales operation in Versailles, Kentucky, right outside of Lexington, 10 minutes from Keeneland. So we breed thoroughbreds with the intention of selling them at the Keeneland sale, and hopefully they go on to race and have successful careers. We also do a lot of retraining. So we try to get them back at the end of their careers to retrain and rehome them that way. And I also buy a handful every year. So this time of year, it actually gets a little bit quiet. We got done with the Keeneland September sale. My husband's the vice president of equine safety at Keeneland, so then he was really busy with the race meet and then the November sale as well because he focuses on horses at both the racing side and on the sale side. And here on the farm, everything, babies are old enough that they can kind of be outside full time unless the weather's really bad, and it's better for the respiratory system, better for their immune system, and also better for my schedule and timeline because it's not as stalls to clean, not as much to do. So we've got a lot of our horses are turned out for the winter. They've got big run-in sheds full of hay, so they're good out there. Weanlings are getting ready to become yearlings. We've got a handful of off-trackers that are transitioning away from the track, and I try to give them as much time outside as well just to reacclimate to being a horse and being in a social structure and all that. So yeah, it's a little bit quieter this time of year, but any horse person knows there's always something to do with horses.
Right. Yeah. That's such a relative thing, right? To be oh, it's the quiet time. And you're still out there busting ice in the feed troughs and, schlepping
not really a quiet time, realistically.
That's nice though that, the calendar kind of follows, I guess, the racing and breeding calendar kind of follows the social calendar that way, so you can enjoy at least a few minutes to catch up, because then what happens starting January, February?
So January, February, we start getting into foaling season. We've got a couple mares that are due earlier this year. Usually we try not to have anything born in January or even early February because being born in that harsh winter, low temps and freezing wind and all that, it's just harder on their body. They're spending more calories just keeping warm than they are growing. And the respiratory system isn't strong enough to really weather the storm biologically. So ours are usually born later in February into March and April and May, even ideally. But so January, February, we start, checking mares and bringing them in more and just getting them acclimated to coming in at night. So ideally they'd foal inside. There's some farms that have transitioned back to foaling outside. For us, especially in the colder winter months, we like to foal inside. And so we'll start doing that with the off-track horses. We end up just kind of keeping them inside more because they're still in training. And this time of year, I have to haul off site to train more since even though we have an all-weather arena, it's outside. And so if it's blustery and 27 degrees, you can't get as much suppleness as you'd love to. So I'll haul off site, 3 or 4 times a week with them. But it's also the time that we focus on biosecurity. I think a lot of farms do that. But in the winter months when things are slower, that's a great time to sanitize all the stalls to get everything refinished if you need to refinish any areas like with paint or with varnish or anything like that, and like update the barn and really do a deep clean in the tack rooms and the feed rooms and the, everything you can, so that when we do start having foals, there's not as many biosecurity hazards. There's always, with horses or with any animal in all that organic matter, there's just always germs. As hard as you try to get rid of them, it's really hard to 100% eradicate them, but we do our best this time of year.
That's super interesting. It sounds like almost in a weird way, like a refresh and a retake on everything from the year, and that nice cleanup period. I think a lot of people do that, even if they're not in horses, in their homes even, and kind of getting a fresh start for the new year. Mm-hmm. Jen, I want to touch base on the fact you have such a unique perspective, being able to be a part of the breeding program, see them grow up, see them go to sales, watch them race, and then maybe even come back to you for retraining. What has that experience been like for you, and what value has that added for if we're in this reflection period that many of us are going through?
Not to get too philosophical, but I feel like we're so fortunate, we being myself, my husband, we've got a couple working students. We get to see these horses be born. We get to know them as foals. We get to know their personalities. We get to be part of building their personalities and their manners and mannerisms. And so getting to kind of coach them through those first weeks and months and even that first year, and then see them go on, it's exciting because we know that if they're up for sale at the Keeneland September sale as yearlings, we know that we're putting a better than average product out there. They're going to be super trainable. They're mannerly. They've been very well handled and prepped. And then, to see them go on through their racing career. And I try to always, not always, but a few times a year, so I don't get too intense with anyone, but try to check in with their trainers just to make sure they don't have any questions, make sure the horse is doing well, and to make sure they always know that if the horse ends up coming to its retirement while it's in that trainer's care, it's always welcome to come back to the farm if they don't have an aftercare plan for it. And that's really important to us. But then it also makes me reflect, and this is the philosophical part. In racing and in all equestrian sports, I feel like people are getting more and more away from the hands-on horsemanship. There's so many people in horse racing that they only see that horse when they go to watch it race. They haven't been hands-on raising it, or if they bought it out of a sale, they haven't been hands-on with, the training and the care and all of that. And so I think we're lucky that we get to have such a hands-on relationship with our horses. But I also think in, equestrian sports or racing, that can sometimes put people in that mindset of a horse being a commodity rather than an animal. So I wish we could get back to a little bit more horsemanship in that way in the industry, whether it's racing or equestrian sports. I think all equestrian disciplines have that same issue because the world is just changing and people don't depend on horses as much to get from A to B or to get work done, physically to eat and live. So, I don't know that it's something that we'll be able to revert back to, but I think it's something that we're very lucky that we get to still play a role that hands-on in those horses' lives, and then, have the skill and the facilities to be able to welcome them back and do the retraining and hopefully get them out competing at the Thoroughbred Makeover or tip classes or open shows or anything like that.
I love that. And I the more that we work, especially in the work that I'm doing with Retired Racehorse Project, working with connections, we're learning that I think a lot more people are coming to that mindset, than we give them credit for. And I think the equestrian industry sometimes is guilty of sort of painting the racing industry with a broad brush, right? And being like, nobody cares about their horses. They just want to race them and then they dump them. And I think that's, I think both industries are coming together more than ever, to realize I think many of us are all just in it for the horses. And, that's why we're so happy to tell these stories on Retired Racehorse Radio too, and to have you along to share your insights. So while we are getting philosophical, Jen, and, once again, I'm looking at your home office and reminiscing about, all the cool stuff I've learned from you over the years. But one thing that you and Dr. Brown have always been so good about doing and, kind of set an example for me as a person, is always in this time of year thinking about charitable giving. And there are so many causes in thoroughbred aftercare in particular, and the equestrian space and the racing space, where that's really important. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, why you and Dr. Brown do so much work to give back, especially at this time of the year?
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. That's very kind. Yeah. It's not so much this time of year, although I think people think about it more this time of year, but just we're very lucky. If anyone who's watching this is probably very into horses, probably specific like to thoroughbreds, but we're very lucky that we have something that we're passionate about, because I just always feel like, what would life be if I didn't have something that was so meaningful and impactful in my life that's like, to call it a hobby is underselling it, And so to me, I feel like this is a really good time of year to give back, my mom's into music. She's not as into horses, but it's really important for her to give back to the music community or underserved communities that don't have access to the arts. And for us, we're very involved with the horse industry. So it's really important to us to give back to different charities this time of year. But having been on both sides of it, and I'm sure Kristen being at the RRP, you probably still see this even more than when I was there. Things are costing more and more. So nonprofits' budgets are getting harder and harder to meet. And at the same time, especially with just how the economy has been the last couple of years, sponsors are harder to come by. It's harder to get donations, especially at the level people used to be giving. We've had this economy in just the general United States and really globally that's been in such a flux lately and has people so concerned. And I'm on a couple boards for different nonprofit organizations, and every single one has been dealing with just having to work harder to get the same amount every year, even though like prices of doing business are going up. So I feel like with us loving thoroughbreds so much and loving horses so much, I think it's a really good idea. Like if you're passionate about something, especially this time of year, think about ways you can give back to whatever nonprofits have impacted you. So like if you have a horse that you've adopted from an aftercare organization, or if you've competed at the Makeover or Take Two programs, or your local horse show association or your local riding center, finding ways to be able to give back, whether it's making a straight donation, whether it's doing a Facebook fundraiser, whether it's just giving a share on social media. Like even if you can't donate, giving shares and telling your personal story of why that organization or those organizations are meaningful to you can give them more visibility, and then they may get $1 in a secondary way because of your efforts. So basically just taking the time to show you care in whatever way that you can really, really impact charities this time of year.
I love that, Jen. And like there are so many different ways besides just giving money, because not everyone's in that place, right?
Yeah.
There's other organizations too that I've looked into. Like I have a bunch of old equipment that's still good, but maybe, not necessarily in style, or like I wouldn't get the dollar worth that I would hope out of it, but it's in good condition enough to be used again. And there's programs who will even accept that, whether it's tack and equipment that they normally, that would cost quite a bit for horses that they're bringing in. One in Michigan is called To Ride Again in Michigan, and they'll take your gently used clothes or gently used tack that you wouldn't be selling and actually send it specifically to these aftercare organizations to get them that necessarily equipment that would be a huge expense for them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways that people can get involved. And one of the things that we're trying to do on Retired Racehorse Radio in a new format is our Track to Triumph special too. And anyone who's adopted out of these aftercare programs to tell their stories. What was the value add of going through this, and what value did your horse bring, and how did that aftercare set you up in a good way? Those stories make a huge difference, like you just said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just being an ambassador for those kind of organizations that you feel like you've benefited from can really do a lot for them. So yeah, it's not just monetarily, but it's just hit me the last year or two how much more nonprofits are struggling. I mean, businesses are struggling too. I shouldn't leave for-profits out of that, but nonprofits kind of work on even more of a shoestring. So this is a great time of year to look into if the company you work for has some kind of matching program, or just think about ways that you can, think outside your own bubble and how you can kind of pay it forward to those charities that matter most to you. And I always find when I do that this time of year, going into the new year, that just, I don't know, gives me more of a sense of purpose and makes me think a little bit less about myself and more about how I can be the change you wish to see in the world. That's one of my favorite quotes. So it kind of puts me in that mindset,
I feel like that's really what the holidays is about, is giving to others and reflecting. And, how do you bring in, I'm going to say, good karma for the new year, starting off on a good foot. And I feel like you really brought that to our listeners today. Before we wrap with you, I'd love to know, what is the holidays for you and your horses? Like, how are you spending your time this holiday season?
So Stuart, my husband, he loves to ride, but he never rides. So we usually go for a trail ride on Christmas morning, and we put, some hot cocoa or maybe a mimosa, if it's me, into a thermos. And we have like a little speaker connected to one of our phones on our saddles, like hooked to the saddle, blasting Christmas music. And we're lucky enough that we have enough of a farm to hack on and some wooded areas and everything. So we just go trail ride around Christmas morning, and we have the dogs like bustling around our horses' feet. It's a great way to check all your horses in the morning instead of doing it on your own feet or in a Kubota, to kind of hack around and do it that way. But we just kind of like laugh and sing and have a good time. So that's one way we spend it with our horses. And we always try to decorate the farm and just make it seem Christmassy. And horses always get, they always get treats, but they get extra treats for the holidays, even though they have no idea what a holiday is.
I love that. All right. Well, we're all going to come over for the Christmas morning trail ride, because that's
yes, please do.
We'll just show up. We'll stay in
I love it though. Awesome. Well, Jen, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for joining for Radiothon. We appreciate it. So good to see you again, and best wishes to you, your farm, your horses, all in the new year.
Thank you guys. You guys do an amazing job. Thanks for doing this and putting so much work into it.
You have reached the Horse Radio Network voicemail line. Please leave your voicemail after the tone.
These holiday voicemails are brought to you by all of us at Kentucky Performance Products. Happy holidays, Horse World.
The HRN Radiothon, it's the best day of the year. 12 packed hours with your host, so get yourself a chair. There are prizes every hour, with the grand prize at the end. Say hello to special guests, congrats to those that win. We want your horse stories, stories that are funny, like the time my horse got out and brought back a pony. It's the HRN Radiothon. The time is finally here. Yeehaw, ride and have a happy horsey Radiothon this year.
Hi, Horse Radio Network. My name is Paige Cerulli, and I hope you enjoy the poem I wrote called Silent Night. As Christmas Eve approaches, I am running out of time. The tree is trimmed and glowing, but the bulbs have lost their shine. I've finished all my shopping in a breathless, frantic craze, and I've barely paused a moment in these hurried, jam-packed days. So once the meal is eaten and the gifts surround the tree, I slip into my boots and take these hours just for me. At midnight, they say horses talk. I want to try to hear just what they think about their lives, about this busy year. My mare's rich brown eyes greet me. My gelding snuffs his hay. I meet them both with carrots, feel my worries fade away. I groom their manes and curry out the mud that's caked in deep, then settle on my tack trunk and try not to fall asleep. I listen to their breathing and work hard to slow my own. Amidst the Christmas bustle, it's the barn that feels like home. Through all the prep and planning, I've been swept into the cheer. I'm treasuring this moment with my two best friends so near. I watch the clock till midnight, then I listen for a word, but it never comes. Their quiet breath is all that can be heard. I wait for half an hour, then relent and go to leave. A bit ashamed, this Christmas tale is something I'd believe. But as I pause to say goodbye, I realize what I've missed. The horses gave me peacefulness, a lesson and a gift. They need no words to teach me. In the backdrop of moonlight, the preciousness they gave me was a cherished silent night. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh, holy day, the sun was brightly shining. It was the day that my horse ran over me. We rode as one through bumpy country dirt roads. His trot could knock the teeth from your head. I had no horn in which to hang on to. There were no stirrups in which to hold my feet. I was riding bareback. Oh, how my butt did it hurt. But down the road we went. Oh, down the road we went. Oh, down, oh, down, down the road we went. The thrill of falling made me giggle. I laughed so hard that I began to slip. I fell on my knees. I landed in front of him. He trembled over me with silver shoes flying by. Oh, he trampled me, yes, he trampled me. Oh, yes, he trampled me. It was hard to gaze through the dust, but I looked up to find my trusty steed. Along away ahead he stopped and turned to look back, and he appeared, and my soul felt his worth. Oh, he stopped for me, yes, he stopped for me. Oh, what a sunny day.
Prancing through the snow on my pony carousel, under the full moon, everything's aglow. My pony's mighty warm on this bareback ride. The snow is dead from the storm, take everything in stride. Moonlit rides, dancing in the snow. Oh, what fun it is to ride on my pony carousel. Moonlit rides, dancing in the snow. Oh, what fun it is to ride on my pony carousel.
Are you managing a horse with equine metabolic syndrome? Ask your vet if Insulin Wise is the right choice for your horse. According to research conducted at Michigan State University, the ingredients in Insulin Wise help horses maintain a healthy weight and normal insulin levels. To learn more, visit kppvet.com today.
Kristen, like all of this holiday cheer right now, and Glenn's question about like our favorite Christmas, all that good stuff. It got me really thinking about how much I love food at the holidays.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you came to visit me, I think all we did, it wasn't the holidays, but all we did was ride horses and eat food, which was really like a dream trip. So come back anytime.
Nothing goes better with horses than good coffee and great meals. And of course, wine and beer. But we won't get into all of that good stuff. I want to get into recipes because I know I stock the things that you and Eric cook because it inspires Zach and myself. And I know that you know that we're cooks as well. So it's always fun that we're recipe swapping. But tell me a little bit about the recipe that you are here to share with listeners today.
Yeah, so I think this might actually be what we make for Christmas Eve this year, because for the first time in a long time, I mean, I mentioned like the really cold year that we didn't travel, but we don't have to travel because my parents moved up here. So now I don't have any reason to go out of state. So now I'm like, oh, we could actually like cook Christmas Eve dinner. So Eric's been talking about beef short ribs like since Thanksgiving. Like he really wanted to jettison the turkey and make beef short ribs instead. So I think we're going to capitulate and we'll do that on Christmas Eve. And I found a crock pot recipe. I don't know if they're putting recipes in the show notes as a link for everybody, but regardless, there's a crock pot recipe, which I think is perfect for horse people because you can start it in the morning and then you just put it in the crock pot and forget about it until dinner time. So you don't have to like be babysitting the stove all day. So these are super simple. You know, you get bone in beef short ribs and braise those in the morning. So like, you know, put a nice sear on all the sides and then stick that in the crock pot basically with red wine, a little bit of onion and carrot, you know, get that going first in the pan, stick all that in, put in various spices, little tomato paste, I think kind of helps lift up the wine, and then like just set it and walk away for 8 hours and then come back in the evening and you have dinner ready to go. So you can put it over mashed potatoes. We like to do it with risotto because Eric's a little extra and likes to do that from scratch, but you can also get like perfectly good pouch risotto too, where you just like open it up and mix it with water and like ta-da, and it's done in 10 minutes. So that's also an option too. But it's just, especially if you've been out in the barn all day, like, and it's really cold and it's awful, it's just like a nice warm, like red food based beef dinner is like, I think the perfect ending to a cold day. So, and now I'm going to see it's probably too late to make short ribs tonight because it's already 5:45, but now I really want them. So
I know. I'm like, oh, now I want short ribs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We're both going to be like, hey guys, you know, cause yeah, we are lucky. I think on the nights that we record that Zach and Eric both cook for us. So cheers to them. So, yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So if that's Christmas Eve, what are you going to do Christmas morning? Since we're probably going to both be making short ribs now. So
yes, I love Christmas morning, and probably like most of our listeners, like we still have chores to do. A lot of us have kids. I mean, you know, I don't, but we have animal children. But for those who have kids, they're getting out there, want to open their presents. It's a ruckus, and you still have to make sure that they're fed. And you probably cooked a lot the night before, or at least enjoyed enough where you had a late night, and you might even be hungover. No judgment. It's typically me. So the last thing you want is like a super cumbersome breakfast Christmas morning. And a recipe I really love, and I make this throughout the year, not even just Christmas, but you can holiday it up with it, is einkorn and buckwheat pancakes with a berry compote. And it sounds super fancy, and it's really not. And for people like, Joy, what is einkorn? What's up with buckwheat? It will elevate your pancake game. It makes you feel so fancy. I almost swore this is not the place for that. It is so fluff and fancy. You will love it. It's einkorn as an heirloom wheat, and it tends, I'm not a doctor, but if you tend to get like upset stomach from wheat, this is a good one to try to see if you can tolerate it. As someone who has gastro issues, I find it's like very digestible for most people. Consult your doctor. Don't take my word for it, but you know, it's worth trying if they think it's a good idea too. Buckwheat, also very similar. It's actually a seed. It's not even a wheat itself. So that one should be pretty good. So I like to do a like almost 2-to-1 ratio of einkorn to buckwheat. So like I do 1 cup of einkorn and then a 1/2 cup of buckwheat for most of mine, but depending how many pancakes you need, use that as you need. And if those 2 ingredients aren't found in the store, whole wheat flour, I'm a big fan of King Arthur's, will also do this recipe justice. So don't panic if it's a hard one to come by. Depends where you're at, but whole wheat will work too. So I'm not going to go into how to make pancakes. A lot of you know, make sure that everyone gets a copy of the recipe. But here's the main trick. Once you make your batter, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. Like the agents, the baking soda that's in it will help everything rise really nicely, and you'll have the fluffiest pancakes that you ever wanted that morning. So just letting it sit 5 to 10 minutes before you start putting them in your hot griddle, it's going to make a huge difference for you. And then the berry compote is super easy too. It's going to take just 5 quick minutes, unless you have to wash your berries or if you're foraging, whatever you're doing on Christmas morning, that might take longer. But if you're lazy like me, you get store-bought berries, frozen or fresh, and you're just going to take 2 cups of berries. I like tart berries, so blueberries, cranberries, that's where I like to be. If you're more of a sweet person, like strawberries, that's cool too. You're going to put those in a saucepan, add a little bit of maple syrup to your sweetness level to it. You can use sugar. I like maple syrup with mine. I think it just adds like a warmth to the holidays. A little bit of orange zest, some cinnamon, and then 2 tablespoons of water to that. You're going to let it simmer for about 10 minutes or so till it's all blended, and then let it cool and it'll thicken up. You throw that over your pancakes, add some whipped cream. You could even toast some nuts like candied walnuts or pumpkin seeds. Sprinkle those on, and you're going to make a really fancy looking breakfast for Christmas. Super festive, and it's only going to take you about 15 minutes and minimal dishwash, which I also love.
I think you put a compote on anything. First of all, a compote smells amazing when you're making it. So if you're also like a simmer pot kind of person, like get on that. So
your whole kitchen's going to smell.
Yeah, the whole house. It'll just be like, ooh, cinnamon and stuff. Yeah, Eric makes a wild berry compote for one of his fancy duck recipes, which I almost did. And then I was like, we don't need to go that crazy. But like we have a lot of ducks because that's what Eric likes to hunt and that's what we like to eat. And he does a really nice like berry compote with like star anise and everything in it. And it smells amazing when he's cooking it. So
and
unfortunately, we don't eat it at the rate that
it'll last a week.
Oh, it lasts forever. Yeah, it's in the fridge all the time. But I just like him to make it fresh because it makes the house smell nice. So
yeah, so it's a nice, easy one. You know, if you're a meat eater, add your favorite breakfast meats to it. You know, fresh squeezed orange juice or mimosas, if that's your thing, whatever it is. It's going to be a really nice breakfast, and you're going to be fed perfectly from dinner. Huge fan of it.
Perfect. All right. Well, we have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day covered, so we'll just take turns going from each other's house. Get that
sounds good to me.
Cheers. Happy holidays.
We're all really hungry now. Thank you for that. It's 5:48. I've had nothing but champagne, so thank you for that.
Oh. That's why Glenn looks so jolly.
Oh,
I
changed my sweater just for Kristen because I do have multiple bad Christmas sweaters, and this one is just for you.
Oh, I love it. Does it have a bell on it? This is perfect. Glenn cannot sneak up on anybody. Well, this is good because I was thinking about this, you know, when you're like, wear your ugly Christmas sweater. And I was like, I don't have one because I'm poor and that's why we have resources. So it's just part of the theme, right? Like, I'm not going to buy a sweater I can only wear for like 4 weeks. I'm just not doing it. So
can we talk about Kristen for 1 minute? So Kristen posts a picture on the other day. It was snowing. It was a picture of her and some of her friends, and they were going out to check on cows, right? Isn't that what you were doing?
Well, okay. So this is like a whole thing. Do you want the whole thing? We were bringing in the herd to wean.
I don't want the whole thing. Like you were going out to look at cows, right? But she looks like a freaking supermodel. She has her scarf on, her beautiful hat. She looks spectacular. Everybody else looks like they're going out to look at cows. And there's Kristen looking like a supermodel.
The cows appreciate it. Okay, but you know what happened after that? Like, okay, so like karma came back to get me because you're like, oh, you look so great. And then like 2 hours later, I fell off a gate, bent my knee the wrong way, and then a cow ran up the road, and we didn't see it for 18 hours. The cow is now back. But I've now been lame for 3 days, so I'm glad that I looked good because it did not end well. But it's fine. The cow's back home again.
I got the full status updates too.
Yeah, Joy was getting like the live tweeted version.
It was glorious.
It was a bad day.
Our experience owning cows was they got out all the time, and Jennifer was so worried because I was new. You know, I was 20-some. I lived in a town. She was really afraid we weren't going to eat these cows eventually, so we named them Chuck and Roast. She wanted to make sure that I had that in my mind the whole time. They got out so much, I was about at the end to shoot them myself because they just were annoying animals. They were just always at the neighbor's house. The neighbors tried to steal them one time. They actually had them in a horse trailer to take them away when Jennifer caught them. I mean, it was a whole thing. It was like, I'm ready for these cows to go now. I really am. Yeah.
This one has a nickname that's now not appropriate for the air. So
Retired Racehorse Radio After Dark.
Well, in honor of your cow...
Yeah. Nice.
He needs a bell. He really needs a very loud bell.
He needs something at this point. Yeah.
You want to give away some prizes, everybody? First thing we're going to do is a trivia question, and this one, actually, you cannot look up probably either. So, Ashley, this is a trivia question for the listeners. First one to answer, Jennifer will acknowledge who she sees first. They will win one of the ornaments done by Jessica Troop this year with Scooter, Nigel, and Duke on it. So, do you have the question, Ashley?
I do. Who was Joy's first co-host when she started Retired Racehorse Radio?
And Retired Racehorse Radio was Joy's idea back then, too. She came to me and said, I want to do this show about retired racehorses. I think I said yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I said yes. Yes. I just was looking for an excuse to work with Joy, actually, was the reason. You were a listener for a long time before that.
Yes.
Before you did your own show. You listened to Hit 'em, if I remember right. Oh, well, everybody knew this answer.
You had me trial. Like, I actually had like a full interview, I feel like, guest hosting for Hit 'em.
That's how I do it. I have everybody guest host, or they have to be a guest, and then we determine if they'd be a good host by being a guest. A lot of people know this answer, apparently. So,
good people listen. Oh my gosh.
Apparently, yes, people are listening to your show.
Great. I was a rookie.
We are so glad Kristen came along, though. We really are. You two work so good together. And there's the Jack Russell. Can you hear the Jack Russell? Or that might be the, I don't know which dog that is barking. Earlier, while you guys were on, I had the horses running laps back right behind me. The Jack Russell was barking and the roosters were crowing all at the same time. It was very loud here for a couple of minutes. Let's give away some prizes. Ashley.
This year's prize giveaways are proudly sponsored by Benefab. Specializing in convenient and affordable therapies, their customer promises increased mobility and less pain in 3 weeks guaranteed, whether for yourself, your horse, or your dog. With a line of all three, they have you and your four-legged friends covered from head to toe. Visit benefabproducts.com today for an exclusive listener discount of 10% off with the coupon code HRN at checkout. Discount valid through midnight on December 8th.
All right, what we're going to do is you guys are going to read the prizes. I think, Joy, you might be first up with that one. But, Kristen, then I'm going to have you pick the winner. We'll go back and forth. And you're going to pick a number between 1 and 548.
That's
all right?
A lot of options. Okay.
It's a lot of options. All right, so, Joy, what's up first?
All right, first up is a $200 gift certificate for EasySignsOnline.com. So this holiday season, give a gift that will last for many years to come. A custom and personalized horse farm sign from EasySignsOnline.com. Oh, I want that. I want one of those. Sorry. Using our unique step-by-step website, you can choose the options you want to see, prices every step of the way, hundreds of options available from size, shape, color, font, graphics, mounting systems, etc. I'm out of breath. And currently free shipping on orders over $150. This $200 gift certificate is good for any new sign order on the website that totals $200 or more. Visit EasySignsOnline.com.
And that's my brother's company, actually. So, and he makes really nice signs. Really nice. Yeah. He does even the big church carved signs and the whole thing. So what's the number between 1 and 548?
77.
77. All right. The winner of a nice sign for your farm is Carol Carter out of North Carolina. Good job, Carol.
Oh, that's she commented too.
Did she?
Oh, she really did.
Manifesting.
Well, Carol, you just got yourself a new sign.
Carol.
That's the magic of Radiothon right there. That's brilliant, Kristen. And Kristen cannot see this chart.
I know. I was like,
you also put in a lovely 16-hand chestnut mare for me as well for this.
I'll do that. All right. Kristen, what's up next?
I would like this prize. These prizes are awesome. So the next one up is from Trafalgar Square Books. It's called No Bored Horses, Essential Enrichment for Happy Equines by Amanda Goebel. My horses need this desperately. So in her groundbreaking book, the first on the subject written specifically with horses in mind, animal enrichment specialist and zookeeper Amanda Goebel shows readers exactly what's missing from the modern horse's life: enrichment and boredom relief. By giving equines back their crucial natural behaviors, stimulation, and enriching experiences they crave, we can truly change their lives and ours as the riders, trainers, and caregivers for the better. Visit TrafalgarBooks.com.
All right, Joy, pick a number.
I only had a lot of pressure on me. I'm going to go with my work number, which is 412.
412.
What is your like employee?
Yeah,
code
what's
number?
a work number?
Well, like we have this whole thing at work. I'm not trash talking them. It's cute, but they really believe in like climbing mountains as like part of your career. And so your climber number is what you get assigned to when you get hired. And mine is 412. I have a carrier.
Corporate America is wild.
What's the top of the mountain? 10,200? I
You're asking a lot of questions that I just didn't even get into when I was hired.
Molly Sherwood is the winner of that particular prize, gets the book. So congratulations to Molly. And Molly is from Michigan. We still to this day have more listeners in Michigan than any other state. I think it's just because you guys are so freaking cold and have nothing else to do. I think that's
nothing else to do up there.
Maybe it's because, we're just fans and we're cultured, Glenn.
Or you're technologically savvy and could figure out podcasts long before anybody else.
Long winters, we get bored. If you're not wrong.
All right, what's up next?
Okay, up next is our 2 annual classic plans for U.S. Rider worth $228 each. U.S. Rider is a nationwide roadside assistance plan created especially for equestrians. I know several people who could use this gift. It includes standard features such as a flat tire repair, battery assistance, and lockout services, plus towing and roadside repairs for tow vehicles and trailers with horses. U.S. Rider can replace current motor plans by covering members in any vehicle, even if you are not driving. For more information about U.S. Rider Equestrian Motor Plan, visit www.usrider.org.
Okay, we need 2 winners here, so let's pick the first number.
363.
Thank you for not making me go the whole way. I appreciate that. 363 is Marla Erickson from Iowa. So she wins a U.S. Rider. Congratulations. And another one?
412.
412. I love you. Everybody else makes me go, I'm done. 412 is Mo Meyer from Texas. I know Mo very well. I got to give Mo some credit. So after the Hurricane Irma, we were without power for 8 days. She invited me to come down, and we did the show from her house for the next week and in southern Florida. So good on you, Mo. That's before she moved to Texas. I'm so glad she won. That's terrific.
And I think she's a listener of ours, so that's equally exciting to see
good.
a Retired Racehorse Radio listener. So
yay. I love that.
Once again, not rigged. I'm really just picking numbers at random.
Yeah. I can barely see the chart. So we have up next.
All right,
this is a good one.
from our friends at Zero Proof Horse Treats, a Barn Dog Bites treat pack worth $100. This prize includes 2 bags of Barn Dog Bites dog treats, which is 1 beef meaty munchers and 1 peanut butter pooch kisses, a Barn Dog Bites treat pouch, and a $50 gift card for the winner to reorder their favorites. The website is www.zeroproofhorsetreats.com.
Them being a sponsor of Radiothon is so appropriate because their horse treats are all based on cocktails. And so this is absolutely appropriate for Radiothon. I love the fact that they're a sponsor, and I love the fact that they have dog treats too. Yeah. Joy.
I'm really excited to pick this one because Melanie is a good friend of mine. It's her company. Actually, my dog, I will not say her name because she's placed, like, her head is between the doorway right now, sleeping. I don't want her to scare herself with knocking something over. But she is a huge fan of these treats. So it's going to be a perfect gift for your dog friends at home. I'm going to pick number 222.
222.
I see the listeners. They're trying this technique in the comments. They're all manifesting.
Jennifer Gallipo.
I'm getting a lottery ticket.
I don't know if you say that right. If I'm saying that right, forgive me, Jennifer. Jennifer Gallipo from New York. So congratulations to her. And then there's one last one, and that is the State Line gift certificate worth $50 that we're giving away every hour. Of course, State Line is our title sponsor. We love them. They have Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday sales going on right now. You want to head over there to statelinetech.com. They are our second longest running sponsor at 14 years on the Horse Radio Network, never missing a week. So we love them. So let's pick a winner. Whose turn is it? Is it Kristen?
Yep, let's see who I make happy now. Number 101.
101. 101 is Christy Mathis from another one from Michigan. I'm telling you, you guys rule up there. So congratulations.
I did get one for New York for Kristen. There's some representation on their web pieces.
Yeah.
All of us up here with these northern attitudes, man. Look out.
Midwest.
It's real cold up here.
Now buried in snow. It's like,
yeah.
and nothing else to do but shop at this point. So that's perfect. Well, thank you guys. Where can people find you again? And we really do. One, I appreciate you being part of the Horse Radio Network still after all this time. And your show is so important to the network, and it's important to horses in general, so we really do appreciate everything you do. You're fantastic together. I have a saying when I do talks at podcasting conferences. The first thing I say at a keynote is they come for the content, but they stay for the host, and that's especially true in your case. So thank you for being part of the network. Where can they find you?
Well, we're on social media at Retired Racehorse Radio on Facebook and Instagram, and of course, find us at horseradionetwork.com.
Very good. Well, we appreciate you being part of Radiothon as well. Stay tuned for Hour 4 of the HRN Holiday Radiothon as Trivia Hour is up next. Don't forget the audio version of the Radiothon will be available tomorrow on Horses in the Morning, the HRN All Shows feed, and the Auditor feeds. No need to miss a minute. If you missed any part of this video feed, you can listen to it on audio and do it that way, or just come back to YouTube and finish it up. It'll be there tomorrow, too. So now on to Hour 4. Jemmy, take it away. Bye, guys.